we were talking about some of the prop bets for the Super Bowl earlier and looking at some things, and it's interesting. Like, if you just look at the first quarter, the Chiefs have come out of the gate slowly the last couple of games. Do you expect it to be different in this Super Bowl matchup?
You know, it could happen that way because we both know that Andy Reid looks for an excuse to not run the football, right?
Yeah.
And so when you fall behind like they did in the first playoff game in the divisional round, 24-0, fell behind early in the game against the Tennessee Titans, and they were down 10-0. And next thing you know, they just get to throw it. Right now, Patrick Mahomes, in their 2 postseason games, they've scored on 13 of their 20 possessions when not taking a knee. That's 65% of their offensive possessions where they went right down the field and scored. So this is a high-octane offense, and I think with Patrick Mahomes, guys, they're never out of it.
Yeah. And on the flip side, Jimmy Garoppolo for San Francisco has only completed 17 passes in the postseason. He only completed 6 in the NFC Championship. They didn't have to.
And how about this? It doesn't matter, right? They bludgeoned the 2 teams they played in the Minnesota Vikings and the Green Bay Packers. I mean, he hadn't had to throw it when they've been able to really beat up on 2 defenses that at the end of the day, during the regular season, both of these defenses for the Minnesota Vikings and Green Bay Packers ranked very high and were formidable. In fact, that's all Aaron Rodgers talked about, is how they had a much improved defense in Green Bay. And we know Mike Zimmer puts a really good defense out on the field with the Minnesota Vikings. So I think it's a testament to just how good that offense is, how good the offensive line is, when you don't have to throw it and still can win in the fashion in which they won in the postseason.
So how do you think it plays out? How do you think this starts out? And, you know, San Francisco doesn't want to blitz. They just want to rush with their 4 guys. And
they don't need to.
And they're usually pretty damn good at it, right? And then they sit back.
Yeah.
So and then, you know, the secondary's a little shaky. They're not great, but they rely on that pass rush. So, but if you don't get to Mahomes, he's going to carve you up. So how do you think this plays out?
Well, the 49ers are one of the few teams that rank very high in top 10 in terms of pass rush and coverage on the back end. In fact, at Pro Football Focus at PFF, the 49ers have the second highest graded coverage unit on defense. However, they do have what we consider to be a weak area, and that is any cornerback playing opposite of Richard Sherman. K'Wan Williams, their nickel corner, he's been really good. He ranked in our top 25 corners. Obviously, Richard Sherman ranked number 1 on our PFF list of cornerbacks in 2019. But on the other end, whether it's Emmanuel Mosley or whether it's Witherspoon, they have proven to be the weak link in this defense. And so it'll be interesting to see if Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes, Tyreek Hill, McCole Hartman, whoever it is, if they can take advantage of it. Something tells me that will not be lost on Andy Reid. He's one of the best at designing plays to attack your weak areas on defense.
Yeah, I mean, Witherspoon was so bad they benched him.
Because you know what? In the postseason especially, quarterbacks will find you.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and Dick LeBeau used to really coach us and say, hey, there's 2 areas that get you beat faster than any other. When the guys screw up, quarterback and cornerback. If you screw up at that position, okay, the team is usually celebrating in the end zone. And so that's how vulnerable we believe that the 49ers defense is, not just because they're weak in that area, but they're playing against a team who has all the weapons and all the talent and ability and coaching designed to take advantage of it.
Yeah, I think it was after Diggs scored early in that game. Shanahan just said, all right.
Yeah, we got to get him out.
Yeah,
Chris Collinsworth was all over it, right? He said they're going to pick on him. He said, and if they do pick on him, you could expect a quick hook. And I think they got him out of the game right away.
Yeah, they did. Put Mosley in.
Joined by Solomon Wilcots, Emmy Award-winning broadcaster, host, analyst for ProFootballFocus.com. And I was looking at your cornerback ratings from Pro Football Focus, and maybe you can talk about this. I was somewhat surprised to see Quentin Dunbar number 2 on your list of corners. He's, of course, with the Redskins here in D.C.
Oh, absolutely. He was number 2. He graded as our second highest cornerback. Now, the qualifier is that you have to have played over 300 snaps during the 2019 season, and he did certainly qualify and outperformed outperformed Josh Norman. I mean,
Well,
you guys watch all the games.
That's obvious.
Be able to improve.
Oh,
Yeah, that was easy to see. Yeah.
Well, yeah. Well, so, but you were surprised by Quentin Dunbar ranking that high. He performed very well in both man and zone coverages. And I think if you go and you look at, go to pff.com, you can read the article. In fact, we even post some examples of what we're describing when we're talking about players. And because he was such a great surprise, we even used some of the video of a couple of plays that he made that showed you how in zone coverage he's able to cover huge areas. He was able to cover 2 receivers at once, simply because he was very keen at the route combinations. And so while he covered the deep guy, he still was able to break on the other underneath receiver and still intercept the pass. That's playing at a very high level, and he did that more consistently than what we saw with maybe some other defensive backs league-wide.